Greetings, divine love and light to all of you. There are constant questions all the time from seekers who are very new to the path. Obviously, those who have not yet chosen a path but have awakened themselves. Consciously, they have become very aware and they are observing and being mindful in their life. So, probably when they come across such videos or such information, their curiosity is triggered more. They want to know more about their journey, which is a fantastic start to begin with. I wouldn't call that a start actually, because this is what I want to basically convey in this video. Never think yourself as a beginner or a newcomer or something like that. There is no categorization in spirituality. Most of the time, I see everywhere there is a big diversification happening. Like, this is a newcomer, they have just entered, and you have just begun your journey. And some say they have been there for 30 years, 50 years, some say 10 years, and some say they have walked the path with so many experiences. And when people are joining such groups, new people are coming, when they are getting awakened and they're becoming more conscious and aware of themselves, and when they come into groups, they obviously come into all these social platforms out of curiosity, and something triggers in them to read more and understand more, and that is the time when they come to search for more information. So usually when they join such groups and they see a mass awareness already there, and a lot of people actually in the group are awakened, and they are talking about their experiences which are way beyond their understanding. It goes over the head most of the time. So this happens when I'm talking about in my videos also, or in my information pages where I'm talking about Kundalini Yoga, or I'm talking about deep scriptures that have Advaitic principles or the Vedanta involved, and very mystical stuff where I'm talking about the tattvas and elements and subtle stuff. So it sometimes boggles the person, and they are like, oh my god, this is too much to take. So sometimes they feel, what is all this? Do I really need all this? And sometimes they feel, oh, I'm just so new. There are so many years of experience people here, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, and where am I going to stand? So will it take another 50 years for me? It's a lot of time. So all these things come. So I want to make this very clear to all the newcomers especially. There is no timeline in spirituality. When you awaken, awakening means what? Awakening means awakening to something which is already present in you. You already knew of something. When we say, when you read a meme or a quote, and you say, wow, that's it. There are so many quotes that are daily put, probably close to 6 to 10 quotes that I'm putting from the collective consciousness. What is collective consciousness? People like you and me, everybody's feelings, everybody's experiencing, everybody's viewpoints, everybody's perspectives, they write and they share. So that the conscious space light I have deliberately made as such a place which is a collective consciousness perspective. So people of various thinking, obviously of one certain frequency I am taking, they are writing their own journeys and their perspectives. So I share it on that page, and when people look at that, it says, wow, that clicks, it makes sense. And something I tell that, they say, thank you, I didn't know this, or thank you, this is so true. There are so many comments that people always say, this is true, this is a fact, wow, bingo, you got it. So all these expressions are what? Be aware when I'm saying this right now. Observe very carefully and mindfully. When you say, yes, bingo, that's a wonderful quote, that's a beautiful quote, or you feel like digging in more, something in you has triggered a knowingness that this is true. What is it that knows this is true? There is something within you that is saying this is true. It appeals to me. So that means what? It just simply means, my dear ones, that this information you already knew. Your consciousness knows about this. So somebody has just come and triggered that thing which is already there in you. This wisdom is already there in you. Even right now you're watching this video and it appeals to you. Certain things appeals to you and you feel like, yeah, that's so true. Means what? It means that you already know it. And somebody is just, on the surface they are removing the weeds off and you can see the things in clarity now. I'm saying it. So somebody externally is triggering you. So all these posts, all these groups, all these people, all these light workers, all these efforts that you see outside, all the expressions that you see outside, which appeals with you, means that you already know it. That's how there's a validation from within. There's a conviction from within. Yes, I must listen to this guy, or I must look into what he's writing, or I must read this particular book, or I must follow this particular saint, or I must understand more information from wherever sources I'm looking for. All that motivates you to go deeper into that. That means that it is already there. So it's the tip of the iceberg. Somebody has just shown you the tip of the iceberg and now you're going down and you see it's a vast thing. So the journey of the tip of the iceberg to the bottom of the iceberg, or the whole iceberg, is what we call as the journey. Sometimes seeing the tip, and when you see that it's a huge big thing, then you say, oh my god, this is too large. When am I going to cover it up? It might take a whole lifetime. Now it doesn't go by that. What I'm trying to tell you is, you are already aware of this. In some lifetime or the other, you have worked to a certain extent of raising your consciousness. Only then it is possible to awaken. Get that very clear. There are levels of consciousness, and probably multiple lifetimes you have already known or done something towards spirituality or something towards evolution of your soul, and which was not complete. So now you are repeating a human experience and you have taken another lifetime, of course with lot of other karmic stuff, and now you have got busy clearing of that other karmic stuff. This is your priority, but somewhere it has gone down because there are much more higher seeking that you have, or the desires are much stronger on that. So that has become the priority and this has gone down. But this is a molten mass ready to explode, but it has not been triggered yet. So as you clear the other layers of your existence, of your karmic residues, slowly as you finish off one by one, maybe it has taken 20 years, 30 years to finish a large chunk of karmic stuff. So when you finish that, and when it thins out, the main molten mass of your awakening is lying there, and something happens, some incidents happen, and then it triggers, and everybody comes into this path with some triggers, something that has happened to them, and then they come and move into this journey. So this molten mass, the top layer which you're seeing, which has just been removed, and you're seeing a little bit and you're getting interest now, oh, there's something, and then you see it's a huge molten mass there, and sometimes people might just hit the bullseye and the thing just explodes. The whole lava bursts out like a volcano and people have different experiences. Maybe that's how people go into, or they might have what you call a Shaktipat, an awakening. The Kundalini gets activated. It can happen on its own, it can happen through some other external factors, but when the time is right, only this can happen. It cannot just happen. Not everybody gets their Kundalini activated. Not everybody has Shaktipat. They cannot have it because the molten mass is down, and the mass consciousness that you see are having layers of karma still to complete to even reach that. So it might take even lifetimes, we don't know. So I always say, you are a blessed person if you are even awakened and become conscious and even are set out on this journey. And now I'm wanting to tell you that the time of the journey is not decided by the linear time that we put here. Like somebody has had 20 years of experience, oh, I'll have to cover 20. Not necessary. You might need only maybe 2 years or maybe even 2 months. Or in maybe 2 lifetimes. You never know. So what I'm trying to say is, don't gauge yourself by the standards set all around or what you see around. or by somebody's experiences. Trust yourself more. I'm just giving you one hint that your desire of seeking, your purity of seeking is directly proportional to the amount of time that you will take on the journey. It's directly proportional to that. What I mean to say is somebody with an impure or a half pure intention must have walked the journey for, let's say, 30 years. So he or she has reached a certain timeline in their journey. Maybe you have a much purer intention, and just within a short span, like say 2 years or 3 years or 5 years, you have covered almost that kind of a journey, that speed, what you would have taken otherwise 30 years. So that also depends. Lot of factors are there. Lot of factors are there. People do not really realize or much focus on the factors. All they are keen to know is what they see is what they take in. Like there is so much of information, and the natural desire is to compete. Competition, I got to be the winner, or the attitude or the trait within a human is inbuilt of survival of the fittest. So here also that instinct comes in. If I've got to survive, I got to do these things. And then there's a run for everything. There's a competition, and there's the external eyes always are looking outside for who's where and where am I, and comparing to each other and all that. Never do that. Everybody is unique. Every single soul is unique. Not two grains of sand are alike in the universe. In the universe, I'm telling you, nothing is alike. There is no duplicate. Some or the other change is there. That means that every single atom in the universe, which is infinite again, is unique. So you can see the kind of unique imprints. So atomic level, if we are talking that everything is unique, you are still a whole life being, having an individual consciousness, and you are a world of your own. So if you understand this, you will know your uniqueness. With your uniqueness, you can do anything. There is no limit to it. It all depends on how you are expanding your consciousness. So for that, the mindset has to be really open. So all the new seekers, all the new people who are coming in here and who are trying to find out answers here, never go too much bogged down. Don't get bogged down by all this competitive nature and who's doing what and all. Just focus on what is to your liking. See what is it that is your seeking. Which path, which faith, what kind of message, what kind of information triggers you, what is your passion more, what are you feeling more passionate about, where is your interest running in. Go in that particular path. There are thousands of paths, and every path will take you there. For me, I have taken one path because that is my structure. That is how probably my journey of till now, karmically, there are so many factors that I am linked with and all that. I've been walking the journey. So it is a continuation of that journey with certain set of people, with a certain set of paths and communities and all that. It's a journey. I treat it as a journey. I don't catch it as a whole and soul thing. It's a part of the journey. Every lifetime there's a different experience. Last couple of lifetimes I have been involved in other communities, in other religions also. I was a part of Islam. I was a part of Hindu communities. Previous lifetimes also. These are experiences. So every lifetime I've taken that very seriously. If I was in Islam, I was a very serious Muslim in that lifetime. And then when you change roles and you find new communities or new people around you, then that becomes a serious thing for you. In some other lifetime, some parents were your gods. You treated your parents as gods. Lifetime changes, and now you have new parents. You treat them as God, and perhaps the old parents that you had now are playing some other role in your life, not as a parent, maybe you're even ill-treating them. So these are all the play of consciousness. We never know who is what and all that. So if you have a clear understanding of this, of how this life is functioning, then you will not be very much perturbed. It is a continuation of a journey. So what I'm trying to say is, every lifetime, every day, every moment, you have this opportunity to be conscious, become aware of your journey and evolve deeper into that. Wherever your heart takes you, go into that. Go dig deeper into that without creating any opinions or final opinions, judgments on this is it. Without any such structures, just dwell deep into that and keep going into that and unwinding. Any path that you take, remember always one thing. Remember this. Any path that you take, your yardstick, the measurement should be only on self-purification. Any path. All the paths are supposed to give you self-purification, because only when you self-purify are you going to actually liberate. And that is the final goal of human evolution. Any path, any religion that you take. So if self-purification is the standard for your growth or evolution, why not catch that root and work on that? Anything and everything that you do should be reflecting back on self-transformation, and self-transformation, the main hardcore focus should be on self-purification. That is the ultimatum. So how do you actually measure your journey? Is every day, just look back and see, or every moment, or every week, or every month, or every year, turn back and see as to where have you reached in terms of purity. And you'll see that if self-purity is coming in, self-purification is coming in, everything that spirituality or religion or any such things are promising you, you will already receive it. Peace of mind, happiness, certain joy, contentment, knowingness of where you are going, purposefulness, a purpose, crystal clear purpose. It's not random. Everything will become evident to you. And then you will know your final goal also. Clarity will come in. So these are the things that you need to more focus on than about this. So don't worry about the time factors, what should I do? And people ask me again, what should I be doing? Should I do a mantra jap, or should I watch my breath? Do anything that you feel right, because I'm not going to tell you this is the way. This is the way for me probably, but maybe it's not for you. So I have had these experiences where I have actually told people to do this way, this particular way, because for me it worked. And over a period of time I saw that they wrecked their head over it. So it was not happening because their structures were different, their karmic structures were different, their understandings were different. So the freedom has to be given to everybody to choose whatever appeals to them. Nothing can be forced. That is why conversions never work. Forceful conversions into anything, any faith, interfaith, intercult, intercommunity, intertradition, interreligion, it will never work. Because it is based on the thing that, it has worked for me, or I feel this is the most superior, so it has to be superior. It cannot be, especially when everybody is unique. Just because everybody is unique, only dear ones, please understand this universe has given uniqueness in diversity. There are so many cultures, there are so many traditions, so many paths, so many religions, so many different diversifications are happened, and everybody is classified into this and that, and everybody is evolving through that. My source of information on all these pages, Shifting into Awareness, is on two parts. One that talks about your journey through these paths or religions or whatever, the faculties that you are catching on, or the modalities. You're catching a certain modality and traveling up, transversing the path. That is part one. Most of the journeys end there, especially in religions, in certain faith, traditions. It has an ending only till there. I mean, there is no clear end also, but the end is ultimatum is you do this, and certain things will happen, and the rest is decided on after death. Or there's a promise that if you live your life in certain way, then your life after death is going to be something which nobody has ever known or seen, because until one person personally knows it and experience it, they also do not know, so they are also living on a belief. I'm not saying whether it's right or wrong, I'm just saying it has its limitations there, where you are knowing about it, you are believing in something, but you are not sure of it, but you go because everybody is going through it. Or probably you have come from that lineage, or probably hardcore beliefs in the families run in that way. And it's mostly based on fear and greed. Greed of getting a reward somewhere after death, of getting something good after life, or the fear of being punished. Something dreadful will happen. So, out of that fear or that greed, a certain faith is followed. They all work, because in all the faiths, in all the religions, in everything you see, purification is the prime goal. In everything there is purification. There are moralities. There are do's and don'ts. There are a lot of rules and things to do and all that. It teaches you certain things. It disciplines you in certain way. It makes you a better human being. But it will not grant you liberation. To grant you liberation completely, then you need to go into deeper aspects, into what else is there that is holding you. After a certain level of purification, all that's fine, but after that you got to go beyond a certain thing, beyond the conventional faiths or religions. That is where you enter into Advaita. And that teaching is the highest philosophies of the Vedantas. That is the highest philosophy of the mystics. The mystical mystics, we run a page that you can see all the mystics who have liberated themselves and their teachings and their life. We try to bring it out there. So you can watch the links here. It is all there. In the links I'll be putting it. So those pages can help you and guide you. So what I'm trying to do here is, I'm not trying to guide you as to do this or do that. Do whatever you want. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Because awareness is of the second dimension, what I'm telling you. The first is, faith and methods and techniques and all that, it comes in that. But when you rise above that, it's only awareness. It's becoming conscious. Completely conscious, aware, and then being and knowing, it goes into that. It's less of intellectual stuff, it is less of logic. In the first, it is a lot of logic. It's all with the mind and ego, everything is done with that. But on the higher ones, the ego is absent, or it starts diminishing. Then you are entering into a complete subtle space, a complete about consciousness. Then everything is about your experience. There you experience God. Here in the first one, you know God. You believe in God. There is a belief, but you have not experienced. Experience can only happen in the second part that I am telling you. So that part is where I am focusing much on, and everything, all my answers and all my sharings and all whatever I am trying to do is on that second band. So whatever I am talking in the first band level of thing also, it is all accepted. It's not that these are two different. Please understand that. Duality is a version of non-duality only. From non-duality only, this has appeared. So this is a part and parcel of non-duality. It is an extension of that. That is subtle and this is gross. The appearances are all important. Right now what I am talking to you, what you are listening and I am talking, and all these gadgets, everything, this is duality. I am using my ego space to express something. You are using your ego space to understand something. So we are using the ego also to learn. So ego is not bad. Ego is not wrong. We are using it, but we are channeling and using it in a proper way. All these dualities, methods, and these instruments that we have, the methods that we have, we are using it for a higher purpose. Through duality only, you can transcend to non-duality. That is why they say bade bhag manushya tan pava. You need to have a human body first. Even the subtle gods cannot directly go there. The second part, you got to come here, take the form, experience the form, and transcend the form. Transcend it. You got to understand, live the experience, feel the pain and pleasure of dualities, and then know this is not worth it. Then something will come, then there is something higher than this that is worth it, and that is your journey back home, where you have come from, what you really are. Then that urge of, I want to experience myself, who this real person is, who has come from there. That person is even right now listening to me. That is the person that is talking from here. We are gods talking to each other. So, and when the real you is listening to this, there's something that is striking within. The ego consciousness is seeing it, and it is, mind is working, senses are working, all those things are happening. But the witness, the awareness is watching through all these things, and it is acknowledging it. It is acknowledging the I that is there, and that's happening right now within you also. So that is the real you that is telling you something. But then there are a lot of all these senses and the mind and ego and all these things are at play. So they are a kind of distractions. So the whole journey is about clearing out all these distractions. So that is the second part that I'm telling you. Now, importantly, I'm telling you, if somebody who has just joined the path, they say, I have just joined the path and now I want to transcend. Now, will it take so much time because somebody else has done it so much? I'm telling you, it depends on what your focus is on, where you came from, what was your pending journey. You never know. You might be a person of the second block, the higher block, the non-dual dual person, not the dual person. Maybe all the duality stuff you have experienced in your past. And now some karmic stuff is there, which as soon as you finish and you awaken, maybe you are continuing it in the higher journey. So you cannot gauge. Are you getting it very clear? Like for example, it's my own experience, because when I was looking into my awakening, and it was so traumatic, and so many years I spent in so-called the dark night of the soul, which I already expressed. It's not easy, it's painful and all those things, but that's a part and parcel of the journey. Until you learn and experience the duality of these things, you cannot, because sometimes you forget, and then you have to experience more harder pain to propel you back to that space. So it is needed sometimes as a very powerful reminder. So nothing is wrong, nothing is bad. So what I'm trying to tell you is, my journey, after a long time, I realized that my continuation is from the upper realm of this non-duality, because this dual stuff I've already finished. So it's easy for me. So when my awakening happened, it was directly towards the higher truths. It did not have all these things. So I was able to see non-duality very easily. Even when I was in my teens, I was seeing oneness. Oneness was my agenda in life. There was no discrimination with anybody, even between species, between religions, between communities. No bifurcation, no partiality. So this I did not learn in this lifetime. This is a carry forward from some other lifetime. Are you seeing it? So it was easy for me to jump a lot of things which I did not need to, but I did not know it. While my awakening was happening, I had no idea of all these things. It took me a couple of years, like 10 to 12 years, to even get a clarity and understand, okay, this is the standing. But it took me that much time. So I cannot judge. So probably 20 years back, if I would have thought of this, I would have thought this is going to take me 10 lifetimes. But it took me only 10 years. So somebody else might think it might take me 10 years. Probably it might take 10 months. So you never know where you're standing. It all depends on your seeking. Like for example, it all begins with your curiosity. You are right now watching, you came to watch this video out of curiosity because there is something you are curious, you want to know, seeing the title or whatever. I want to understand more. Everything is based on curiosity. You come to Facebook or YouTube or even seeking, soul seeking or anything, it's all out of curiosity. It's called the jigyasa. Jigyasa in Sanskrit word, curiousness. So it all depends on what kind of a jigyasu you are. This also is a Sanskrit word. Seeker is a jigyasu, a curious seeker. They are very curious to know. So your intensity of that jigyasa, yes, intensity of your seeking decides on your speed. So there are chances that you can intensify it if you understand this. Probably yours is a slow journey, but if you understand this, there is a chance that you can go faster. So your curiosity level, where are you curious on? Are you curious to find out how do I create wealth? How do I create good relationship? How do I create health? Or are you more curious on knowing what are the religions? What did the avatars do? What did they say? Or are you more curious on who are the avadutas? Who are the people who liberated themselves and want to study the people who attained salvation and try to find out how can I be like them, how can I attain salvation. This is another level. These are higher levels that I am talking. Or then go beyond that also and see what is beyond, being curious about what is beyond. Where is all this going to end? Or is it the highest curiosity of who am I? From where was all this created? Where is this going to end? Where did it begin? The journey of the consciousness. This is called a Brahma Jigyasu. So it all depends on your seeking. If you are a Brahma Jigyasu right now, and then if you say, oh, I have so many years, and it's wrong. Because your curiosity is fixed to the highest philosophy, you will naturally go and dig into those areas only, you will not need to go through all these steps like everybody did. Probably what you're saying that somebody else did was they are climbing those ladders and you're looking at them. Not needed. If you're a Brahma Jigyasu, your area of focus will be there and your manifestations will be there. And over a period of time, I told you, just some karmic stuff which is there on top. As soon as that is cleared, it will just explode. It will open up. So if you have this clear-cut understanding, then you will not be in hurry, nor you will be worried about when and how and all these things. Dear ones, all the new guys who are here and people who are very new to all this, I am trying to provide everything from A to Z or Z to A. I'm talking about non-dualistic stuff also and the dualistic stuff also. Mostly I'm talking about non-dualistic only, the highest philosophies, the highest truths, the supreme truths, the ultimatum, but I am talking through a language which is dualistic, which makes it little more delayed. We can go into that also straight, but not everybody is ready for that. Are you getting it? So most are in this. So if you talk more from these, like more related to the body consciousness, creating health and manifesting wealth and all those things, success and relationships, these are all body consciousness, 3D stuff. 4D is again more with psychic experiences, miracles and phenomena of mystical things happening and more of that, but still it's a limitation. It has got siddhis, achieving powers and all those things. Beyond fourth is again the fifth dimension, which is everything has become silent now. Then it's pure consciousness. It's all about the consciousness. All this curiosity has sunk down now. It's just about that. And when you come to that state, you just want to experience and be the real you. Are you getting it? So this is how the journey goes, and you can decide on that. So it's not wrong to directly go there. It's neither wrong to go from bottom. Everybody is unique. That is why we say do not judge anyone. We accept everyone the way they are. So if somebody is at a very low ladder, and they are still stuck up in that, we try to help them also in their own language. We speak their own language. That is why I said, when I am with a Hindu, I talk Hindu. With a Muslim, I talk Muslim, Islam. With a Christian, I talk Christianity. What is that? Just talking their language. Because on this point A, the higher block doesn't have any meaning to this. There is no this is mine or this is best or that is worst, or there is no comparison. It's null. For people who are realizing things from here, these things are null. But they are just talking their language so that they can understand it. Because once the consciousness comes to that level, you will be also able to see it is null. Probably now you are not seeing it. So till the soul sees it, they will go through all the upheavals, all the struggles and everything, and finally this lifetime or next lifetime or whichever, that will come. So that is the journey of the struggle. So if you have transcended this, very well and good. You not need to be just focused on that. So all the people who are asking whether should I do mantra jap, or don't go by anybody's suggestion, do this or do that. Your soul knows it. Meditate upon it, be silent about it, think, observe, feel. What is your gut feeling? What attracts you? What gives you pleasure? What gives you... See, I'm talking what gives you pleasure. Pleasure is again a lower this, but it's not wrong. You need to derive pleasure completely. So what gives you, even this experiences, this knowledge, even this video should give you pleasure. If it is giving you pleasure, that is a lower thing, but it is giving you pleasure, means you are satisfying that need. But for somebody who is above pleasure, the same information might feel as peace, might feel as a kind of contentment. There is no pleasure, but it's a completeness. Are you getting it? Different experiences. So everything is valid. So if you feel more inclined towards mantras, do that. Try it and see. If it is giving you peace, if it is giving you a certain level of contentment, and more importantly, over a period of time, it should give you purification. If you are becoming a better and better human being, then that's the path for you. That's the thing for you. And those who do not feel attracted to any of these, best is the breath work. Best is the breath work. Watch your breath. Do all that. There's enough stuff on the internet and all that. If you want, I can guide you on that later. But there is enough stuff on that also, who are new to all these things. And who because some people write, I don't want to get into yoga, I don't want to get into Kundalini and Shaktipat and all that. I don't feel like. But I want to know more about this information. I want to read books. Then that means Jnana Marga. You are of the Jnana Marga. The path of wisdom. What I am talking right now is from the Jnana. So that is your path. So nobody can judge you. Nobody can tell you what to do, what not to do. You know what to do. Go on that path. Walk on that path. Seek wisdom, higher wisdom. There is lower wisdom to highest wisdom. Advaita, the Vedanta is the highest. Go for that. Eventually you will be guided there as you walk in that path. If you say, no, this is not my cup of tea. I like serving others. I don't want to get into all these things. So serving gives me happiness. That means yours is Karma Yoga. Follow that path. It is all there. I told you all the diversities of the consciousness are there. There are masters, there are people, successful people and communities who have created Karma Yoga. Get into that. If you say these things don't make any sense to me, but I am more of love. I feel love towards when I see this Ishta, when I see this God or this idol or this deity. I feel attracted. I feel like serving or doing a puja or bathing it or everyday praying to it or singing chants for it. Then you are of the Bhakti Yoga. Your inclination is towards Bhakti. Go to that. There are enough communities and people, successful people who have done it. See what suits you. Go into that. If you say mantra and you feel the mantras are beautiful, you feel like dancing, or you feel Laya Yoga. Laya, you are very ecstatic about it. Go into it. You can dig out all these things. There are different paths. And then you say, no, I want I love these rugged saints and yogis and people who have done it in this way. And the way they have maintained their health, their bodies, the martial arts, the way the breath work they do, the physicalities that they do, the mastery over their body, and the strength of their body. Go check out the Hatha Yoga and all those areas also, which is dealing more with the physical stuff. Go through that. Or if you say, no, I like those people, those beings who are like, who are so detached from everything, who do not want everything, who are completely an aesthetic, like fakirs and walking sannyasis and all that, then definitely you are not about, it's not, this is not your cup of tea. Then you are on the path of renunciation, you are on the path of sannyasa. It is, never go by what people are telling you. No, that is not right, or this is, that is for them. For you, maybe you have already walked all this path in your previous lifetime. Now the time, it's just triggering and creating that interest in you, because it's a continuation of your journey. Please understand that. It's not about anybody else's journey. You see where you got to go. So if sannyasa is your marga, go ahead with it. Please do it. And there are enough religions and faiths and cults and paths which are into sannyasa. You can study, go more into it. It will take you, life will take you after that. You just got to, where you're seeking is, poke on that and dig deeper, dive into it, that space. It will take you from there. Or if you say, no, I want a master to guide me, I want somebody who can help me activate my inner stuff, and then you go into the Shaktipatha, the Kundalini Yoga. There are enough masters all around. You seek what you are connected to. Like I am coming from a path of all this. I've been into everything all my life. I've gone into Kriya Yoga, I've done Kriya Yoga for years. I've done Brahma Kumaris, I was there for almost a year with the sisters and all that. And I was there with the Swami Vivekananda, Ramakrishna Mission for many years. Even right now I'm tied up with them because I love their activity. And if you go in Ramakrishna Mission also, you can see they have got Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, Raj Yoga. Raj Yoga is meditation. Suppose you say, I don't want all this thing. I feel only nice watching my breath, meditating, focusing on my inner mind and all that. Then Raj Yoga is your cup of tea. Do that. Do meditate. Focus on your breath, inner breath and all that. What I'm trying to tell you. So I've been through all this. So I know the experiences of all the margas, including the Bhakti Marga. I was a very frequent goer to ISKCON temples here while I was in Belgaum here. So I've been in that marga also. I've seen, I've danced, I've sung, I've been ecstatic, and it's beautiful. I'm telling you. Their expressions are beautiful. Even Ramakrishna Mission's expressions are beautiful. Until I came to finally to the marga, which is Shaktipatha, Kundalini Yoga. And when I entered it, it was a different space. Then for 12 years I practiced only Kundalini Yoga for my master, and that gave me the breakthrough for everything. I'm telling you, there were limitations in all the paths that I saw. I'm not judging it. It was my experience. But only the Kundalini Yoga broke all those shackles because it was preparing to propel me into the upper category of the Advaita. And my master did that. With my master's grace, even I'm speaking this. And whatever wisdom I am sharing today with the world, it's all my master's grace because he opened all the knots. So I was able to see and understand and now share it with the world. So now I am more focused on the upper rung. So it's more that side only. But I can see everything because I have come through this journey. So I'm trying to guide you through this only. Don't feel this is it or this is not. You might be directly from that also. Wherever it starts, go with that. So if you want to know about my master, I have already put it on my websites and I share it a lot. It's a path called Shiva Yoga that I used to do. And right now also I am doing the same practices. Even if I am on studying on the higher rungs of Advaita philosophy, I am still doing the practices of Shiva Yoga, which my master had taught me. Because that keeps opening up more channels, because he is a Advaitic Guru again, who is teaching the higher wisdom, who taught a lot of higher wisdom also. So, and once you go into that space, that's a different. Then the physicality ends, and it's all about non-physicality, even with your master. That's for some other time. But to tell you, for now, if you feel attracted towards any of these, if you want to get into the understand what I have done, I have already put it on my website, www.shiftingintoawareness.com. In that you can see my master. Click on that. There's a whole blog that I've dedicated to that. So, but I'm telling you, it's not required that you have to do it. If you have an inclination, go through it and feel it and understand. And if you have any questions more regarding on the paths that you are trying to choose or struggling with, or questions that have been unanswered, or confusions or doubts or anything on the path, any path that you are on, feel free to write to me. I'm available at shiftingintoawareness@gmail.com, or my platforms here on Instagram, YouTube and Facebook, all with the name Shifting Into Awareness. You can visit any of these pages and put a comment there, or put a message directly to me. I'll be glad enough to spare some time on this and try to help you with this, with lots of divine love and light to all of you.